Okay, here's an update on this building that I've been doing. I'm doing this more of a horizontal so I can put more time in on it, but I'll also do the shorter video to direct you here. As of right now, this is a fail. That usually doesn't happen with anything I build. I'm usually very calculated about how I do things. I know how things are going to react. I've never done this before, this kind of a thing before. I thought I'd try to do this cheaper project. So what happened is this: the covering of the foam core. So let me just get a little piece here. The paper that backs the foam core on either side, when it was painted, it saturated and released from the foam core. Forgive the band-aid, I sliced my finger with the razor blade yesterday working on this. The paper actually released off the foam core itself because it got so saturated with the paint that I guess the stickum underneath didn't adhere. So you can see here it's all bubbled and everything. The other thing I found, let's see if I can get this so you can see it in the light. I don't know if you'll be able to or not, but there's like a light area right here. Now what this is this strip I put on here. I didn't do like I did the smaller strips where on the smaller strips I put the glue right on the back of the strips and then applied it straight to the foam core. This one I put the glue on the foam core itself and then laid this on here. And what this area is right here, where the lighter area is the glue. That the glue stick was wider than this piece, so there was extra glue that was below the cardboard piece, or the poster board piece. So it will take several coats to cover this, but it will cover eventually. But what I'll do from now on is I'll just make sure any pieces I apply, I will put the glue on the back and then just put them into place. So, how to solve this problem? It's not that hard to solve, and it is doable, and it is cheap. Cheaper for building big industries like this. This was an experiment right here to do for this big project over here. I have an enormous building I need to build for this one, and it'd be cost prohibitive with the styrene and everything. It'd probably cost me about $300-400 just in sheet styrene to build the size of building I need, whereas the foam core is pretty cheap. So what there is there's another type of foam core, and it has, when you buy it, and you can only find it at like Hobby Lobby and Michaels and stuff, but it is available. Part of it, one side of it, there's a covering on it, like a plastic covering, a thin plastic covering that you peel off, and one whole side is sticky. So what I'm going to do, since as you can see, the paint on the cardboard parts, or not cardboard, but the poster board parts, is all nice and straight. Nothing buckled, nothing came up. You can see right here, it's all nice and straight, but what's underneath it, or what's beside it, isn't. So you can see how by this didn't let the paint saturate through to the foam core. So the foam core is still attached behind this. That's why it's all nice and straight and not buckling. The same for the edges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a piece of that foam core. It's a little more expensive than this. This was just cheap foam core here. This was, I think it was 98 cents for this piece. The stuff that has the stickum on one side, I believe, is about $8 a sheet. So this only took me a half a sheet to build this entire thing, so it's not that big a deal. I'll have pieces left over for other projects. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a sheet of that, peel that stuff off, and put a piece of poster board down over the entire thing. Then I'll cut everything out like I did this and assemble it just like I did this. And then I'll use more poster board, and I'll come in and I'll put my trim details in like this and build the entire thing up like that, and then paint it. And I don't think I'm going to have any issues because the poster board is made to not buckle when you use like heavy inks and things like that on it, because it's made to be drawn on and have liquid media on it. So that's what I'm going to do. Same thing happened on this side. You can see buckled, it all released away from the openings right here. And that's the other thing I'll do, is I'll be sure to trim out with the paper. I was going to do that as a secondary thing, so I wasn't going to do that until later. So I will actually, with the cardboard, trim around all the openings so there's paint won't get up between here, between the surface and that. So it'll all be completely trimmed beforehand. The only reason I didn't do it this time was I was hoping to paint those trim pieces silver so I could get all the edges of the trim before I actually applied it. I would just measure it out and then cut them and paint them. Now you can see here what happened. I had a real problem here. You can see where it was really light because of the glue. Same thing happened on this side. And then what happened here is it just actually ran off the glue completely and actually got a sag. And I never get sags in the painting I do. I'm very deliberate and patient in everything with how I do that. You can actually see on the back side here, because I had taken the piece off and the glue there, you can see how it's bubbled on there. So this will all be solved by just putting poster board on top, a thicker poster board on top of the foam core. So I'm calling this a fail, but it really isn't, because I learned some things on it. I think this is going to be, it's only going to increase in total cost probably $10 to build this entire building. And that's for the foam, that's for that sticky foam core side, and an extra sheet of poster board so I can do a second layer on top. I'll have enough to do the layering for the strips. So everybody fails, and it was just a good learning lesson. I wasn't sure if the foam core was going to take the paint well, and obviously it didn't. So that was a good learning lesson. So I will apply that to the next one, and I'm confident now that I can use this for that project over there. I just have to get the right foam core and everything that goes with it. So as you can see, I was going to do an interior in here with a loading dock. I was going to load it up with boxes. There was another interior, which was this, and I was going to paint and do it separately. It was just so that you could see in the door right here, and I was going to have materials in there, transfer materials in there off the cars. So this will be a good project. Oh, just to give you an idea, this right here is the door that went here. So what I'm going to do is, if you look, you don't push it all the way back in. You just try to do this one-handed. It's not working very well, especially with the cut finger. There we go. But as you can see, ignoring the bubbling of the paper, that's how that's going to give you a recess. And then it's going to be trimmed out on either side with silver, with little strips to make it look like the silver metal around the door opening. So, and that was going to be painted silver. So it was going to look all nice and neat and even when I got done with it. And the next one will too. But, so there we go. I will also do like I said, a 1-minute video showing that this failed. But that we will be starting a new project on it probably within a week or so. I've got some stuff that just came in for a project that I had lined up after this one, figuring this one was already going to be done, that I want to get started on that, but I will come back to this. So thanks for watching the short videos, and I hope this explains it, and we'll see you on the next build on this.